It says we're live.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Today, my guest is Christel Joy Crawford. I don't know if you're using Joy much, but I love that you have Joy in the middle.
Thank you.
And she is an Access Consciousness certified facilitator now living in Colombia, right?
Okay.
And she has many, many specialties that she also facilitates, one of which is Talk to the Entities and Joy of Business Facilitator. And is there anything else I'm missing? Probably there.
Just a bunch of my own stuff, but no.
And she has an amazing Infinite Being School Facebook group. You can follow her from there. And she really, really shares. I follow it. And she shares inspiring stories, the awarenesses. It's one of my go-to Facebook. I don't go to much, but it's one of my go-to Facebook lives. Usually, I follow. And thank you for all the contribution. And today is day 5, I think, maybe. Probably it's day 5. And we have been talking about different aspects of this group is for global perspectives on presumptive and reactive need of reactive realities, actually. And we have been talking about different aspects of it.
Yeah.
And today we'll be talking about in terms of need and control. And I'm sure you have lots of gems to talk about. Let's hear your take on it. And yeah, what is your awareness around this?
Oh my God, Icicle, throw me in the middle of the ocean. Um,
Just a taste of an immense topic that you can study like 7 days, maybe.
oh, sweet Lord.
Yeah.
Need and what is my take on need and control? Well, so can you start?
Yes, sure. What we say need of control, need of reactive realities.
Yeah.
Alongside with presumptive, we talk about it. Of course, need has different aspects. Like we think we need something. When we do go to need, there is a lack. But this reaction and the need of reactive realities is a totally different ball game.
Yeah.
Why would a person, we all do, everybody else in the world does, why would we need a reactive reality?
Oh gosh, why do we need anything?
Yeah,
Well, so react that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now I can go.
sometimes I get that too.
So need is just the reactive reality justifies things. So like if there's so many, right? Like
Yeah.
thinking is a reactive reality, stress, anxiety, worry, fight, withdrawal, separation, rejection. I mean, like the list is very, very long. Basically, anything that's not being, knowing, perceiving, and receiving is a reactive reality. So
Hmm.
the need of one is to justify rightness. If you need to, like, I can really look into my relationship to find very easy examples. I think probably anybody who has a partner or a kid or anybody in their life can look and see, oh, yeah, that moment when you're like, ugh, that's that need to react because
Hmm.
rightness, because that's wrong, this is right. And so essentially that's what it is. And so but we react in different ways. So we separate and we, withdraw, but because also rightness, because like we've been wronged or in some way. So it's always has to do with right and wrong.
Hmm.
And that need to do it is the need to be right, sometimes about being wrong, and sometimes about being right. So that's that. So it's like what I'm discovering is pock and potting, like clearing them out. Like today, I had a big, huge round of clearing. Last night and today, big, huge round of just clearing them out because like
Hmm.
I needed to react so bad. I was, and I was like, okay, so all the presumptive and the need of reactive realities. And then this morning I'm laying on the floor. All good epiphanies happen when you're prone or showering.
Hmm.
I'm laying on the floor and I'm like, what is it? Is there something here that I'm assuming can't change? Because that's a presumptive reality, something that you just as a fact that you think can't change. And I was like, yeah, I can't change. And then I filled in the blank. Relief, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, poets, and beyonds. So I mean, so the need to be right is control. We think that if we can control our thing into, we think that we can control our thing into existence, essentially. Whatever our
Exactly.
thing is in the moment, you know? And that's just not how things work. The truth, I was reading in the Bars Manual, the true, there's a blurb under the power bar, like what power is. And power is being you, basically. You are the catalyst for change as you. And
Hmm.
anything that's willing to change can, and anything that's not willing to change won't. And that's power. And I'm like, well, but what I learned and what I've been out creating for the last 10 years is that power over or force is what creates all change. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that all plays together, you know, that's a presumptive reality. Power
Yes.
over creates all change. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all nature, poems, ambience, right? Like they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
That's how we are taught in this reality. If you have
Yeah.
power, you have the power to change everything. But that becomes a presumption to leading you to judge what you're doing right or wrong, or why you can't change it, because the person does not choose to change. It's not
Yeah.
in your power in that sense, but you can be the catalyst of change. That's so beautifully put.
Yeah.
And there's so many gems in the bars books. Every now and then I open, foundation or bars. It's like, how did I not even notice
I
that
have
this was
never read this manual before.
and I'm just facilitating this, and I've never looked at it in this perspective.
Yeah.
Every time you become aware of something, you are aware underlying truth or something more about it. And how about when something is a choice, when we have a presumptive reality about how something will show up or that something needs to show up, can I have realized that even though if that is a choice that you can really choose, but if it comes with a presumptive reality, that takes you out of choice.
Yeah. Can you say a little bit more? Like, so when,
Like let's say you have possibilities of generating an additional revenue stream,
okay,
but if you have a presumption that it can come from this and this and this way,
right.
and then you get focused on it and trying needing to control
Yeah.
that even though that can be a creative generative element and possibility, when you start presuming things and try to control that, it takes you out of choice, even though
Totally.
that could have
Yeah, yeah. Well,
created.
you're talking about projections and expectations,
Yeah,
which are
yeah.
really powerful judgments of like, okay, I'm going to create extra revenue. I'm going to do this thing, and it's going to create this fixed result. That's a projection of a result that never occurs because
Mhm.
there's only three things projections and expectations create, and that's separation, judgment, and rejection. So I guess the presumption underneath that is that if I project, it will create a result.
Yeah.
That's a fact that we sort of live from, because I can see even myself, like the reluctance to let go of my projections. It's like, well, if I don't project, how are things going to show up? So the presumption is, well, if I don't project, things won't show up. So I project in order
Hmm.
to get things to show up, and then that doesn't work because there's only three things those can create, which is separation, judgment, and rejection. And then I'm confused about why my projection didn't work, and then I'm upset and I have a need to react to it because my presumption should be true.
Exactly. How glumped all together are these?
All the presumptive and native reactive realities, right, wrong, good, bad, pot,
Yeah.
all nature, spice, moments, and beyonds. But I think that's, I'm glad you brought that up, because what I'm seeing as we're talking is that there's underneath every projection and expectation, there's the presumption of what you think that's going to do. It's a fact that if I do this, then this. That's a presumption. That's something that's just sort of built into our fabric. It's a fact.
Hmm.
So you're going to find the facts that you're functioning from that you don't think can change
Hmm.
by the fruit. Are you going to a lot of conclusions? What is it that you have bought is real about what conclusions can create? Because you keep doing it as if they're going to create something, but are they creating that thing? Or do questions actually create that? And you can't seem to get access to the choice for a question because you're so busy concluding, because you're functioning from the presumption that conclusions actually work. And that can come from our parents, that comes from society, that comes, like, who the fuck knows where those originated, chicken or egg. But there they are, running our lives. And then the need to react is, well, I did this thing, it should do this. this should be like this, which again is like the projection that, but, well, you know,
This is such a fact. This is so valid. Why are you,
this is a
every,
fact. This
yeah,
is not questionable. This is, and I find I mean, I'm finding them everywhere, of course.
yeah,
Like, it's in relationship, like it's a fact that you shouldn't do this, that you should communicate with me in this way. And then
mhm,
if I look underneath that, what is it I have to unpack that for myself. What am I really looking for? What is it I think is going on? What is it? And then when I get all the way to the bottom, there's this thing that I need, but most of the time I need it from me, that I'm
mhm,
trying to get in a different way that's continually creating frustration. And the need is just from, I want to live this way. I want to have this. I want to know that I'm valuable and I'm, worthy, and I want that because I can know that. It's
yeah,
that underneath everything. So all the way at the bottom is usually this awareness of a reality and a possibility that we can have and choose, but it's so covered up with all these different things and ways of trying to get things that
yeah,
has nothing to do with like asking and receiving and being and knowing.
not at all.
Yeah.
And that need of a reactive reality, especially in relationships, doesn't matter, no matter which relationship it is, becomes a control
Oh, it's
also.
totally control. Yeah.
And where is the freedom of choice in that for us and the partner
And
on both
most of the
sides?
time, do you care?
Yeah,
Let's be honest, when you're in that moment, do you care that you don't have freedom? I mean, that's what I really have to, that's my
yeah,
own, I guess, self trap is like, no, there's no choice, and I don't care because I actually want that thing. I want the thing I'm trying to control into existence because I've decided that that thing is the answer to this thing.
yeah. Well, as long as you're aware, but you want to choose it for a moment, for some time, go ahead
Totally.
and choose it, but be
Yeah.
aware of what you're doing.
You just want to be aware only just because it may or may not be working. That's really I mean, consciousness includes everything, right? It includes all our insanity and it includes all our different attempts at trying to create things, including control, and it's included. It
Yeah,
just might not be working in the way that it could, it might not be working. And I
exactly.
know, like, I have a hard time sometimes when I'm in the middle of control looking at whether or not it's working. You know, but after you kind of get over that need to react,
Yeah.
and I'm so grateful for these new tools because I literally can pock and pod myself in a moment and get freedom, like instantly for looking for another choice. Because I
Yeah.
literally couldn't even get to looking for another choice for a while. I was so trapped in the need to react.
Yeah.
So,
Even points of view, we keep clearing the points of view, but there is a deep down presumption that creates all these points of view, and points of view create our reality. We know that. But once I'm so grateful for that too. Once this tool has come out, it is like shaking it from the ground, from the root that you don't even know that it's gotten so rooted.
yeah,
So it just, deroots whatever it was underneath those points of views for.
yeah.
And this is where we need to be extremely vulnerably and true to ourselves, and we need to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah, it does require some honesty. But
Yeah,
I will also say, for those of you guys listening, if you're pretty new to this
yeah,
conversation, one of the things you can do just immediately, if you don't even really have access to a lot of clarity around what you're doing, is
mhm,
around every difficulty, go all the presumptive and need of reactive realities, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, poc, all nine shorts, boys, povids, ambience. Because honestly, that's working.
yeah.
So,
Especially if you have 1 plus 1, someone around you. That
yeah.
triggers wherever you have presumptions. Actually, I'm so grateful for all kinds of relationships. They show us where we still have those presumptions. If,
Ooh,
if you
baby.
live on your own, you may not have noticed at all because there's no one to push your buttons for
Aren't we
you to,
lucky to have people to push our buttons? Aren't we lucky we have buttons?
yeah.
We get so lucky to be buttons walking.
In this lifetime, my aim is to become buttonless.
Button free. Me too, I should go.
Yeah,
This was the year of like going past
yeah,
all self judgment. I'm like, that's it,
exactly.
2023, I'm done. I'm done judging myself.
That's all. And for all of those listening, and a lot of people who are new to these tools talk about this is not a journey. We're still talking about what we are discovering day by day, moment by moment.
Well, there's
This
no
is not,
destination. I
yeah,
mean,
there is no destination, and it's not going to happen overnight. the
Yeah.
more you use these tools, the more of you will come out, and that bitch, that you will demand to be more.
Yeah.
It's finally out there, and it's given space to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And
So,
is there any tools, other tools that you might, share with the listeners if there's some stuck yuck, what the fuck kind of a situation to get them out of there, just to have ease with that?
well, I really am honestly using myself like every single stuck yuck and what the fuck moment, all the presumptive and native reactive realities here,
Hmm.
right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all night, shorts, boys, poets, and beyonds. The only additional thing I'm adding that's giving me a lot of ease is going, when I'm doing an ick,
Hmm.
even if it's kind of a withdrawal ick or a fighting ick, it's asking myself, is this my need of a reactive reality?
Beautiful.
That has been setting me free because it's always yes in that moment. If I'm doing ick or stuck or what the fuck, it's always a yes. That is my need of reactive. And
Hmm.
there's something that's been happening around acknowledging that that's a need I'm doing, that's creating change even faster. So I'll ask, is this my need of a reactive reality? I always get yes. And then I go, okay, everything that is times a godzillion, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all nine shorts, boys, poets, ambience. I guess that does require a little more honesty with yourself because you
Yeah.
do have to be willing to know you're doing it and pock and pot it without judging yourself for it. And to be honest with you, like since this came out, I mean, I've had to do it everywhere. Like,
I know.
I have been a walking, talking need of reactive reality for as long as I can remember. And it's gotten so different over the 10 years in Access Consciousness, but it's still there so dynamically. So you might have to do a lot in the beginning. But
Yeah.
what's been happening for me is a level of peace and ease and potency and knowing I have never gotten more access to me than I have in the last month. So
Mhm.
those are my two top tips right now for everybody.
Thank you so much, Crystal.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you.
And everyone, you can follow her on Infinite Being School, Facebook,
You can go to
and
Instagram.
YouTube
I'm
too.
super active on Instagram if you
YouTube.
guys want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Instagram too.
Yeah.
And see you later. Thank
See you later.
you.
Thanks.
See you,
Bye.
everyone.